Bienvenidos, amigos. Welcome to the Bravo Show, where art, culture, and history come alive. Today, we're exploring Azteca dance, a sacred tradition rooted in ancient Mexico. Now, me on the Bravo Show, we don't just talk about culture, we experience it. And when we talk about Azteca dance, we're talking about ceremony, symbolism, and survival. So, Chafile, since your name comes from the Aztec deity, why don't you give us a little bit of a background?
Prayer in motion. Traditionally, dancers form a circle representing unity between earth, sky, and community. At the center, offerings are placed to focus spiritual energy. Every movement carries meaning. Serpent motions symbolize fertility and renewal. Turns awaken the spirit. Grounded steps honor the land. The drumbeat represents the heartbeat connecting dancers to their ancestors. Even after colonization, this tradition endured.
Like a tree with deep roots, the dance grows from memory. The circle is like the rings of a tree trunk, each generation adding strength. Tradition survives when it is nourished.
That's what we celebrate here on the Bravo Show. Culture that survives, culture that adapts, culture that moves. And speaking of movement, let's move on to today's special guest.
Hola y bienvenidos. I am Roman Reyes, your host for the Bravo Show, where rhythm and color are in perfect harmony. We strive to bring you the best talent from nuestro pueblo. Today we have a very exciting, something that you probably don't know too much about, but if you look at the history, you will understand what we're going to talk about today. Today we have a special guest. Her name is Lisa Lopez. Lisa, can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to be talking about today? We talked about this a little later, or earlier.
So I'm here to represent this here, and with the lack of representation in our community, I'm more than honored to be a part of your project, to bring this knowledge and just some of the simple questions that are pretty general in our community, and bring whatever I can to open up that communication, open up the knowledge that is kind of a lack in our community. So that's I'm very honored to be here.
Oh, thank you very much. I know one of the misconceptions that we have is that a lot of people see you guys dancing and then they think it's a performance.
Right.
But it's not. Right?
Right.
And so it's something very serious. It's something very personal. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So there's different levels of our presence. Mm-hmm. So there are ceremonial sides where there are very important annual ceremonies. We're talking spring, summer, winter, fall.
Right.
However, there's also ceremonies that are very similar to like a quinceañera, where there will be a special ceremony for that, or maybe the water ceremony, where we'll come for it was a birth of a child, weddings. So there's things like that we that are very, very important to bring a balance, to bring a balance, because the connection that we all naturally have with the earth and with the sun, and just our movement itself. So all that, it all comes together in a beautiful way.
Wow. Well, you know, that's very interesting, and we're going to talk about all this here too. But before we do that, let's look at your journey. Tell us a little bit about where you were born, how you came to being where you're at now, and basically why you chose this journey.
So born and raised in downtown Phoenix. I'm about fifth generation here in the Phoenix area. So I take a lot of pride in that. So as my journey began, I was about 15 years old, and there was a gentleman by the name of Tupac Enrique Costa that we were doing some environmental work in the barrio Las Cuatro Milpas. And he approached me and he said, hey, you know, as you have an Aztec design on your shirt, and sometimes you see Aztec people on your lowriders. He said, but do you know anything about that? And I realized, you know, it's beautiful, but I never realized that it was here in the valley. So he invited me to my first practice, which was at Barrios Unidos Park in downtown Phoenix. And like I said, I was 15 years old, and it really made such an impact because as a child, being darker, I would be bullied because I was dark, but I didn't know Spanish. Or so I realized when I went to that first practice, everyone looked like me, and I felt finally like there was I had a place.
You had a connection.
I
Right?
had a connection,
Right.
but not knowing anything about the ceremonial side, I just knew that it was beautiful, and it definitely spoke to me. So as I started practicing, it just naturally.
You're talking about the dances.
Dancing, yes. Started dancing. It just naturally connected to me, and I knew I had a space.
Oh, fantastic. Now, you have mentioned that you were a warrior. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So these pieces are considered like a battle piece. But as a warrior, there's different ways that you go into battle.
Right.
And if I were to, for lack of better words, a spiritual warrior.
Right, exactly.
So when I put this on, when I put my chochoyotes on, when I put my copili on, I know that I'm in it as a warrior. I'm representing thousands of years from back then until and even to this day.
Right.
When it comes to representing this, there was so much that had to be hidden. Once the conquistadors came,
Right. Okay. Right.
and it was forbidden.
Exactly.
It was forbidden, and so there's dances that represent the corn dance. In those specific movements, without even saying words.
Right.
It starts from the beginning of preparing the soil to planting the seed to the actual seed growing and preparing the corn for everything that you're going to use it for. So along with the dance for Tonantzin. So each dance has a very specific meaning.
Now, Tonantzin, is that the Virgin Mary?
Right.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
So when Tonantzin is a representation of the Mother Earth, and so there's lots of stories. And what we like to acknowledge is that this is alive, very much alive.
Right.
So I can't specifically say this is this story without using everyone else's story.
Right.
So you have the story of Juan Diego, right? And how it came onto his cloak.
Right.
And so where he was at the temple of Tonantzin. So in order to, from what I understand, in order to combine the two cultures that were colliding,
Christianity and the Aztec.
Right. That's the way they were able to do it. That's the way we were able to do it in order for us to survive.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because it was either we're going to cut off your head, or
exactly.
either do this or we're going. That combination. So for us, we keep the language alive, and their name is Tonantzin.
Tonantzin.
And in a sacred way, you would say Tonantzin Tlali, because that very end in the Nahuatl language would give it more respect.
Now, where does the Velación come into play?
So the Velación is very much part of the ceremony. Without the Velación, which is you prepare yourself for the actual war on the next day.
Right.
We're going to say war. So spiritually, you're going to prepare everyone who's going to be dancing, because you have drummers.
In the circle.
Yeah, in the circle. You have drummers, you have the popochtecos, you have each person, there are people that have a specific responsibility.
Right.
And during the Velación, that's the preparation part of selecting people, and through the prayers and the concentrated part of that ceremony, it's just for preparation for the next day.
Right.
So you absolutely can just put on your stuff and dance. But if it's so much more peaceful
Right.
for the dancer to prepare yourself in that way, because there's certain parts of that ceremony that mean a lot for the next day.
Wow, that's now this. How do you use this, and did you make it?
So traditionally, you would want to make your first pair of chochoyotes, your first copili, your first traje.
Right.
This specific piece I did not make. It was given to me. It was traded, actually. So now, as we move on to modern day ceremonies, and the way that this works is there's a lot of people that travel for different ceremonies, because each group takes a responsibility of a ceremony. So you can have this as a lifestyle where I take my piece, I create my own pieces, and I travel to your say Colorado.
Right.
And in order to get gas money to go to the next, or to travel, not necessarily gas money, but in order to travel to the next ceremony, which would possibly be in Phoenix or maybe Texas, all over the southwest of Aztlan, there would be trade.
Right.
There would be trade to get me from this group to the next group.
Now, is this a coordinated organization nationwide, or is it just different areas that are different than the other ones? How does that work?
It's so much alive, just like our history. So, and that's the beautiful part, is that it's never going to die, because of the responsibility that different people have taken upon themselves. So, the history, from what I know, is there was a gentleman that came from Mexico City and went to Chicano Park and taught people there.
Right.
So my teacher went from Chicano Park here to Phoenix, Arizona, back in the 70s and the 80s.
Right.
And so he started teaching here.
Right.
I started in the 90s. And so just like his responsibility was to spread it, there was other people that went all over. So you'll have groups from all over Aztlan. So you have all over California down to Texas, right? However, like I said, it's alive. So these people learn and they take it all over. So you have people in Minnesota, you have people in New York that are representing this, and it's such a beautiful thing.
Oh, fantastic. Now, we were at Chicano Park, and it was a eye-opener. It was a religious experience. It was phenomenal, and it was exhausting. And
because you didn't go to the Velación. No, I'm kidding.
Well, now tell me, you were there.
Yes.
Now tell me how you got to there, and while you were doing dancing, the physical aspects of it. Because I saw them dancing for a long time, and I saw all different ages and so forth, and so it was really moving. So what was your experience when you were there?
So my very first experience was when I was about 16, 17, and I was a very young dancer, and so I was very timid. And I wanted to make sure that I represented our group in a proper way. And I also understood that I was learning.
Right.
So I made sure that I kind of sat back and watched everything, because I had been to plenty of ceremonies here. However, Chicano Park Day is a totally different approach. Because that's basically where it all started in the United States. So it's a very important piece of the history of Danza Azteca here in the United States. So it was so moving, like you said, well,
Yes.
just for you,
Just
it
for
was
me,
moving.
yeah.
So it was moving for me, for it to be
Probably
my-
10 times more.
Oh my goodness, yes. So with each ceremony, everyone brings their drum. So if we have just our ceremony here, it'll be just our drum.
Right.
But when you're talking about the big ceremonies, you're talking about 4, 5, 6 drums. So you can hear this blocks away, and I think that's such a that's so intense, and that really grabs people. It really does.
Right. Wow. So as you were dancing, do you prepare yourself physically for that?
Oh, for sure.
And okay, because that's very athletic.
Yes.
I mean, it was really athletic. If is there any movement to spread, like spread the gospel, so to speak, spread the teachings of Azteca?
So physically, it is very. It can be. It can be very exhausting. So of course, just as a regular person, you should physically go to the gym anyways.
Right.
Keep yourself fit just for your own health, let alone if you're a dancer or an athlete or anything like that. So I definitely stay in the gym, but not because I'm an Aztec dancer. I stay in the gym just on a personal level. However, it in order to go all the way down, you got to keep your knees healthy.
Yes, right.
In order to do a good spin, your agility has to be. However, you have from 5-year-olds to 80-year-olds.
Right.
And the señoras, they won't do the turn as fast as a teenager.
Right.
However, the movements are still the same.
Right.
It's
I know
the
they
same.
danced for like an hour and a half.
Yes.
Straight.
Yes.
And it was phenomenal. I
Yes.
just can't get over it. Is there a training a ritual? Is there a training school? How does somebody get into it? How does somebody become part of that?
So really, I think that depends on each group individually. So with the way that I learned is I sat back and watched first couple times. Just because I didn't want to disrespect in any way, but once I was invited, hey, you watched a couple times, come join us.
Right.
It was an honor, and it was definitely a challenge, which I was willing absolutely willing to accept.
Right.
I wanted to learn every dance and learn the history of it, and what's this dance and what's that name. Then that opens up to the language. And the language that we use, Nahuatl.
Right.
And so then I named my children. My children have Nahuatl names.
Oh wow.
So it's just it all just kind of comes together in a circle.
Right.
With the language, the movements, the ceremonies, the history, all that just kind of combines itself beautifully.
Right. Now going back to Mary and Tosinitza. I can't pronounce.
Oh, Tonantzin.
Tonantzin. How do they? We talked a little bit about it already, but how do they mesh?
So I believe that the Catholicism that came in, like I said, it had to mesh in order for the acceptance to be there.
Right.
So, like I said, with the dances, we kind of hid our history with that.
What I was getting at kind of is that somebody that's going to join Azteca and they're Catholic, and so is there a conflict there? Or?
Not at all. To be honest with you, there
Okay.
are some groups that are heavy on the Catholic side, and are very and everything is kind of intertwined.
Right.
Kind of beautifully, where it was joined together in order for the acceptance on the indigenous side and the other side.
So now, when you're dancing, now is it a spiritual thing? Are you communicating with God or with the deities, or how does that work?
So for me, the connection with the earth So that would be Tonantzin, right?
Right, Tonantzin.
So I would prefer to dance barefoot because there's an absolute connection with the earth.
Yeah, you're grounded.
On the ground.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way through,
Right.
all the way up, right? So spirituality is different for everyone.
Right,
You know?
yeah.
So when I feel that connection, so you have the drums
Right.
that are replicating your heartbeat.
Right. Oh.
So that's it, and it's the heartbeat of the earth
Right.
also.
Now I understand that each movement has a meaning.
Oh, for sure.
So exactly how does that work?
So let's go back to the dance for corn. So there will be a point where you'll see us prepare the dirt. It looks
Right.
like we're preparing the dirt, and so each step has a specific reason. You know, at this, in the beginning we prepare the dirt,
Right.
and then so on and so forth. So same thing with the dance for Tonantzin.
Right.
It's to honor her and to honor the earth, because the earth gives.
In the video and film industry, we call these props, but these are definitely not props. Can you explain to us what they are?
Okay, so first I'm going to explain the chochayotes. So this is a seed, and so when you start, you want to make your own. And I made these when I was 15.
Oh, wow.
16 years old. So these seeds are actually from deeper in Mexico. This plant grows here indigenously, but the ones that are grown here are a lot smaller, and so they'll give a different sound.
Right.
These ones are bigger, so they put deeper sound.
Oh, wow.
So this is what keeps your beat
Yeah.
along with the drum, and so that's where this one comes in. So this is the chochayotes. Now this one is the copili. The copili, like I said, it represents, this style, to me, represents the beginning and the end, a whole lifestyle, the sunrise and the sunset. And so this is a very, very important piece for me, because I've accumulated all these feathers for each ceremony that I've been to. The popochcome is going to be the smoke.
For the sage.
With the copal.
Okay.
Depending on whatever the ceremony is.
Okay.
So the popochcome, the one who is responsible for this is almost like a weaver.
Okay.
The smoke, it gets weaved into the air along with your prayers, your good energy.
Right.
And then I have this piece, which is going to be my rattle. This was given to me. And then the atacocoli. So this one has a different tone because it's so small. But you'll
They play it?
you'll
Make a sound out of it.
they'll do with the four directions.
Oh.
They'll use one of these. So I also brought this piece, which is going to hold the water. So like I said, the elements are very important to be represented. So when it comes to the altar, it really depends on the ceremony, and it depends on the purpose of that day. Okay. So everything is going to be different for every experience.
Well, this has been tremendous. This is phenomenal. Let me ask you something. If you want to have somebody come and talk to you or get more information, where can they get a hold of you?
So every Friday we have practice. And to be invited to a practice would be a personal invitation.
Right.
Yes. So there are groups all over the valley and on totally different levels.
Right.
So there's some dance group close to you somehow, some way.
Okay.
So definitely reach out.
Okay.
Reach out, and we'll have more information.
Well, we really appreciate you being here and educating us, because this is something that is part of our history, and I think something that everybody should know about. So once again, thank you very much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Once again, the Bravo Show, where color and music are in perfect harmony. Thank you very much.
Dance to the rhythm, feel the heat. The Bravo Show is here, it can't be beat. In the heart of the city, the music plays strong. Colors and laughter, come join the song. From the streets of Tijuana to LA's lights, we celebrate our roots, dancing through